and thank you for watching The Righteous Kitchen, a cooking and baking blog found at www.therighteouskitchen.blogspot.com. I am going to share with you my banana bread recipe. This is a recipe I created because I wanted a little bit richer texture of a banana bread. I incorporated whole wheat flour and just a touch of molasses. So it's a very delicious moist bread. And I'm going to walk you through how to make it. First, we're going to start by preparing our loaf pan. My loaf pan that I'm using today is a little bit smaller. If you have a larger size loaf pan, you're going to need to use that. So I'm anticipating a little bit extra batter, which is going to give me room for a small loaf as well, a mini loaf. So what I've done is just grease this pan with Crisco, and then I'm just going to lay a sheet of parchment just to go in there. I just want it on the bottom. I'm not worried about it coming on these two sides. And then I'm going to go over the paper lightly with more Crisco. And then this small little pan, I'm not even going to worry about putting parchment on it. If I was making it to gift to someone, I would put the parchment, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. I do like to bake on a tray in case the batter poofs over the sides. Then we have a tray to contain everything in, and we keep our oven clean. All right, I'm going to need to wash my hands, so I'll do that and then I'll come right back. Before I wash my hands, I'm going to coat this teaspoon with a little bit of this Crisco, and I'm going to use that when I go to pour the molasses. It's not going to stick to the spoon. Okay, I'm going to start with the dry ingredients. In this bowl, I have all-purpose flour, and then I'm going to show you how to measure the flour. I always go through this when I'm demonstrating. There's nothing special. You don't need a scale or anything. You just need to make sure that your flour is aerated before it goes into the measuring cup. You put a little extra and then level it off with the back of a knife. So we have our all-purpose flour, our whole wheat flour. We have baking soda, salt, and I like to use dehydrated butter for the flavor. That's 100% dehydrated butter, and I found that on Amazon. I'm just going to go ahead and blend these together with the whisk. And then I'm going to set this off to the side. And then I have a half a cup of buttermilk. I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoons of dark molasses. I really like the flavor that this gives. So there's one. And then we'll do the half. We'll see if we stir this together. I'm using store-bought buttermilk. I do prefer that over the homemade. All right. So there's that. We'll set this over to the side. I also have, for the topping, some homemade caramel and some quick oats. So I'm going to put that to the side, and we'll go ahead and start our batter. I'm going to need to bring this mixer over so you can see. Okay, I'm going to cream together the sugar, and room temperature butter. Not margarine, has to be butter. And then we're just going to beat this until it's combined. All right, once we get the sugar and the butter combined, we're just going to whip in the eggs. And we'll let that get nice and fluffy. A couple of minutes. You're going to want to scrape down the sides. And see how this butter is nice and fluffy. That's what you want. Give a chance for that sugar to get dissolved. Now we're going to just stir in the mashed banana. Okay, we're going to put in half of the flour mixture and start this out on slow so you don't get flour all over the place. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour in all of the milk. Okay, we're going to start this on slow. And now we're going to add the rest of the flour. We're going to let that go just till it's combined, and then we'll finish hand mixing it when we scrape down the sides of the bowl. Okay, we'll go ahead and scrape this beater down. I really don't like hitting the beater on that mixing bowl. So I'll just use this to kind of break that a little bit. Okay, so we've got our beater cleaned up. And we'll just scrape down the sides and make sure that everything is mixed. And there it is. Okay, so we have our prepared pans. You want to fill it about 3/4 of the way. I'll go ahead and get this little one. This is going to go into a preheated 350-degree oven. It's going to take about an hour or so to cook. All right, so just take the knife, even it out. And now we'll go ahead and put the caramel over the top. So you just drizzle this And then this is going to give the oatmeal something to cling on to. If you want to use nuts, that's fine. Not everybody can eat nuts, so this oatmeal is a good substitute for the nuts. All right, this is ready for the oven. Like I said, 350 for about an hour or so, and then I'll come back and show you how to check for doneness. All right, we'll see you in an hour. Okay, this bread has been baking just a little over an hour, just an hour and a few minutes. And I'm gonna go ahead and check it. You can smell it, so that's a good indication. The sides are starting to pull, that's good. When I press on it with my finger, it bounces back. It's not leaving an indent with my finger. And then there's no batter sticking to the cake tester. Now this larger loaf probably just has a couple more minutes. It's not real, there it is. It left a little indent right there. So I'm gonna put the larger one back in the oven, but this smaller loaf, it's done. So we'll just go ahead and take that out. And I'd say about maybe two to 3 minutes on this large loaf. Look how good that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and release this loaf from the pan. And what I do is I just take a kind of a thin knife, a thin blade, and I just go along the sides. And this one isn't lined with parchment, so I want to release this while it's nice and warm. Let me get a little piece of parchment paper. I'll do that and then just flip it out. There we go. Now this is still hot. I'm just going to kind of flip it over a little bit and let this cool. And then I'll bring the other one out to cool before I slice them. All right, let's look at this again. And that's good. See how it's bouncing back up and not leaving an imprint? And it's coming just slightly from the sides. And then it's not leaving batter on the cake tester. So this is done as well. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and slide this knife right across these two ends. And then I'll come behind this paper and make sure that it could be released. And then I'm just going to pull it out. And And I'll just let it rest here and cool down a little bit with this other loaf. This is still piping hot. I'm going to go ahead and cut a slice. We'll just keep that on there. There it is. Look at that. That's really nice and moist. It's got a good coloring. I really like that coloring that it has because of the wheat bread and the molasses. Go ahead and put some butter on the top. Look at that. It's really moist. I like the banana is prominent, but I like this when you take a bite, you get that caramel and it's got a little bit of a crust on top. It's very delicious. Look how moist that is. That's what the top looks like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get some pictures of this. And then I'll add them to the video at the end. But I just want to thank you for watching my tutorials. I do enjoy making these videos for you. But I would appreciate it if you could like, subscribe to my channel, and share these videos with your friends. All right, thanks for watching.